Hey guys, what's going on? It's Rekt Capital and welcome back to the channel. We're going to be talking about whether or not Bitcoin has invalidated its Wyckoff accumulation schematic. Let's dive right into the video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future. And let's talk about the Wyckoff schematic. Here it is superimposed on the Bitcoin price chart, and you can see that a lot of things have been invalidated. And let's talk about some of those things. So first of all, whenever we focus on this red boxed area, the spring, the test, and the third higher low here, you can see that the spring, the test, and that third higher low, this all is supposed to form a higher low, a series of higher lows. And you can see that this third higher low here has been extended into a consolidation range, which has effectively broken down this series of higher lows. That's one of the major things to point out here, that this is now consolidation, and of course there was a brief breakdown from here, but ultimately Bitcoin was able to reclaim this 33,000 level as a support. So yes, this higher low has been invalidated, but if you still focus on this spring being lower than the test and that third higher low being higher than the test and the spring, then this is still very much intact, because we're just reclaiming levels of support by support, right? So while the series of higher lows has been invalidated in a sense that we've seen an extended consolidation range form here, we haven't really actually broken down from a reclaimed support that is 33,000. So we are still proceeding and having that price progression level by level by level, even though the higher low connecting the spring test and third higher low has been lost. The other thing to mention here is the same series of higher lows that has been lost, the series of higher highs has been lost. So we've seen this higher high here, and according to the schematic, the next higher high should have taken place at the last point of support area. But we've seen since that final higher high, we saw a lower high, and then a lower high, and then yet another lower high. So we are deviating quite substantially from the schematic, but my rationale here is that we don't have to follow this schematic in a picture perfect way, although we were following it quite closely, quite perfectly for a long time until recently before this consolidation range formed here. My rationale here is that as long as Bitcoin is able to just keep these levels as support going forward, having that price progression in a staircase manner, in a sense that taking it step by step by step, but nonetheless still progressing towards the upside support by support, as long as it continues to do that, then some element of this Wyckoff accumulation schematic will still prevail, and 36,000 is still the resistance to break to have that overextension towards the higher 30s before pulling back for that support test at 36,000 once again, which would be a last point of support. So while we're not following this schematic closely, perfectly any longer, it's still important that we're progressing step by step, support by support going forward. And as long as we continue to see that, then that can still inspire some sort of bullish price action. The most important thing though is to deviate from the Wyckoff accumulation schematic and focus on the macro perspective. And the macro perspective here is showcasing to us that Bitcoin's price action on the weekly time frame has been able to perform weekly closes for an 8th week in a row. We've been able to close above this blue 50-week exponential moving average, which is a very key EMA in sustaining bullish momentum. So effectively saving the Bitcoin bull market, an 8th weekly candle close in a row is positive that we're still maintaining this level as a support. Really important that it continues to do that, but at the same time, we've recently, with this recent candle close, actually candle closed for the first time in, well, months. Actually, for the first time this year, we've closed below the weekly higher low. So this entire higher low, which has held price for the entirety of 2021, we actually saw a weekly candle close below this weekly higher low. And it's really important that this multi-month trend line doesn't turn into a resistance. And it's very young. The week is still young, it's very early on, but we're already seeing this higher low, which was once a support for so long. For all of this year, it's already showing initial signs that this higher low might be turning into a resistance, which is, it's really important that Bitcoin is able to reclaim this higher low as a support going forward, because what we're seeing right now is, yes, we saw the higher low get lost initially at the moment, still very early on. Much can still change. The 50-week is still holding as a support. This higher low might still be, or at least might be, figuring as a new resistance. So we're going to see a very unsustainable, tight, non-volatile range form here between the higher low and the 50-week EMA. And this is going to cause some real price compression, non-volatile consolidation going forward perhaps, but that's going to really start to compress price. And of course, price compression tends to precede volatile price action, and one of these levels will need to give way. And of course, losing the 50-week exponential moving average, then we can become a bit more bearish about Bitcoin's price action, because the 50-week EMA has been historically important for just sustaining bull-side momentum. And if we lose this level and close below this level, then that's going to be a confirmation that we should expect a bit more downside. But on the other hand, if we're able to reclaim this weekly high low as a support and weekly close above it, then that will be a positive semblance of price action and price development for Bitcoin, because we'll be able to reclaim this level as a support, and that's going to be effectively reclaiming a multi-month 2021 trendline that has been important for just holding up that bullside momentum despite those downside wicks, because we've been seeing loads of downside wicks below the weekly high low, below the 50-week EMA, but we've always been able to scoop up. Bulls were able to always scoop up and buy at those extensively low price levels below this area and just see price slink up above key support levels. But at the moment, we're losing one of those key support levels. Really important that the 50-week EMA isn't lost as a support. In any case, guys, that's about it for today's video update. Thank you so much for watching today. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future. Like the video if you enjoyed this one. I'm Rekt Capital, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Speak to you soon.